If you would like to see the products that made it into my 2025 high-end products that I have on my face today and how I applied them with this Get Ready With Me, I hope you'll stay tuned to Beauty Over 70 with Lee. Video, I'm going to be doing my 2025 high-end products that made my 2025 list for high-end. So that's what the video is about today. So I'd welcome you to stick around. We're going to be doing a Get Ready With Me, and I'm going to be applying all of the products that made it into my 2025 high-end beauty products. Good morning, friends. Welcome. Like the intro said, we're going to be doing my 2025 high-end products. Cleaned and put all my moisturizers on. Got my glitzy headband on today. So we're going to start right out with our foundation primer. And the foundation primer that I use, and that figure, I get it at Ulta, and I consider it high-end. I have several, but this particular one is the Professional by Benefit, and this is the one that I do like, and that's the one I'm going to be using today. Concentrating on areas that I need it the most. And if you've been with me a little while, you know that would be from head all over my face, right? I do prefer primers, and I love them. I think they help your skin foundation to adhere. I hope it wears better. Got my mirror set up over here. A little bit different angle today. It's not my Ilios mirror, and that one I love, but when I use it, it seems like I can't. It's very tall, and I can't get those shadows on my lights for some reason. Okay, I'm going to let that get around my mouth area. That's my worst area. Got my kind of blingy, dressy sweater on today, so I don't want to get any makeup on it. In, and while that is setting in, I'm going to go right into my eye primer, and that would be none other than the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. That's the shade I use. I put a P on there. I have it in a couple of colors, so I put a P on there so I will know, and that's the MAC Paint Pot in the Painterly. Let me grab my special brush, and let's put this on here. I always apply this with this special little It Cosmetic brush. It works fantastic for me, and it's just what I grab. I keep scooting my mirror a little bit closer. You know my vision is horrible, my close-up. This just puts a velvety film coating on your eyelids that is not drying. It makes the eyeshadow go on super, super smooth. It wears. Your eyeshadow will stay until you take it off without any touch-ups. In other words, that's what it does for me anyway. I love Painterly. That is my favorite shade. I think I have it in, I think it's ochre. And I think there's another shade that I do have, but I still prefer the Painterly with my eye color. It blends right into my skin color, and it makes it super, super nice. The brush I'm using is weighted, and it's larger here and skinnier there, so I'm holding it at this way rather than too close or way back. So I love this brush. It is just my favorite brush to do a lot of things with, but I just set it aside and totally use it for this particular procedure that I do on my face. Now, while that is setting up, you know, when we apply something, we have to always just kind of set it, let it set in and let it kind of cure for a couple of minutes, right? So while that is going, drying down, I think I will go ahead and normally I start my foundation and go right into my foundation. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my eyes first today before I do the foundation. My eyes I'm going to go over it with a coating of powder is what I'm trying to say here. I have a little BK Beauty brush that I really like to just kind of dip in and just go right over and do a light dusting of powder over my lids. Now the powder that I'm going to be using today in the high end that made it into my high end, I have a couple of 3 high end powders and the rest of them is totally drugstore. It would be the Laura Mercier translucent, and I use just the basic old translucent in the Laura Mercier. It does have a sifter with holes, and I just pop a little bit out on a Kleenex here on my dressing table, so that's what I use. Would be the Laura Mercier translucent, and shake it and just put a light dusting right over my eyelids before I start my eyeshadow application. This mirror that I have over here, it's no matter what size mirror I have, no matter what magnification, it's still just very hard for me to see with my vision after these corneal transplants. So, okay, you're probably thinking, what eyeshadow are you going to use, Lee? Because I know you have many eyeshadow palettes, and this is true. But I am going to, now I haven't used this but a couple of times, but I really, really like it. The eyeshadow palette that I'm going to use today that made it in the 2025, I just love it. I absolutely love this palette. I have several Natasha Denona palettes. I always get at least one every year to add to my collection because of the price point. But the Natasha Denona, which is the Eye Sculpt and Texture and Tone palette, I chose the lighter shade earlier this year. You know, it comes in 2 different ones. You see it's got, I'm going to just open that because there's no mirror. And I chose the lighter. They have 2, you know, the darker and the light. So I chose the lighter shade. And that's the palette that I'm going to be working out of today because I have used it 3 times and I really, really like it. So, all right. I'm going to do a wash shade right up here under what few eyebrows I have up here. That I have just a few. And I'm going to use this light shade right here to go up there. The lightest shade at the very top. Just get a little bit up there. Can't see it very much because my skin is so light, but we'll work it out. I think it's my rougher number 1 brush. And I'm going to start just a little contour color with my eyes being so hooded. If I look down, you see all that fold goes down and you can't see my eye. So I'm going to use this shade right here. It's kind of a neutral shade. That's the shade I'll be using. This is a heavy palette. I'm going to dip in there and tap it. I'm going to set it down because it's heavy, in other words. And I'm going to keep it just a little high. And tapping it. Tapping, tapping, and blending. That's the key. I don't always practice what I preach because of my vision. But we did the best we can, right? And it's hard for me to look in this mirror and my monitor and look in my mirror to see what I'm doing. I'm trying to raise this higher. Now, if I get it out here too far, I can always come back with concealer and clean that area up. But I try not to be too messy with it. I'm going to use this rose color right here and dip between the brown and these two colors right here. I think I'm going to mix those two colors. Like I said, this palette's heavy, so I'm not going to hold it up. And I'm working at an angle here, so... Okay, let's dip between those two. Let's see what happens. I'm still using my rougher #1 brush. Just cleaned it. That's what we have so far. Folds in here and all this crepey skin, which makes it very difficult to work with when you're 77 years old. Slanted brush, and I think I will go into this light pink right here above this second shade right here and put over my lid. See how that works. Blend a little bit. I'm going to take my rougher #15 brush and just try to blend this together. Go off camera and pop on my lashes, little half lashes. I will be doing a half lash tutorial. I've had so many of my subscribers ask me for a half lash tutorial, those little cheapo things that I found on Amazon. So I will be doing one of those after the holidays. So if you're one of those subscribers that requested that video, hang tight because I've got a lot of videos that I have to get out before the new year that I am committed to, that I need to get out. They're already in line to be uploaded automatically. So I don't know when this one is going to air, but just hang tight because it is coming. But it takes me a long time, and I will do an uncut on that when I do it. So I won't leave anything out so you can see exactly how I do those half lashes. Okay, they're cheap. They look really good if you put them on correctly, or I feel that they do for the money. Hang tight with me, but right now I'm going to go off camera and do my little half lashes, and I'll be right back. Okay, my friends, I have my little half lashes on, and they are on, so let's start right in with the foundation. The foundation I'm going to use today that made it into my 2025 high-end foundation is none other than the Lancome Tintadol. I love this foundation. It's pricey, but I love it. I save it for special occasions. I have several high-end foundations, but this is my holy grail top foundations. It's the Lancome Tintadol in the stick. And the color I use will be listed in the description box. Okay, so I've already had that primer on. It's set in, and we're just going to take this right off of the stick is how I apply it. A little extra down here on these redness because I have a lot to cover. Start with that. It blends like silk. It's beautiful foundation. Grab my favorite. You ever lose a brush? Really? When you see me do a total uncut, I mean to where it's a totally uncut, you're going to think, what in the world is that woman doing? It is my It Cosmetics double-ended foundation brush with the double end that go around the nose area. You can contour with this. My favorite. I may convert over to a sponge, and I'm definitely going to pull in my Stands Out sponge. I couldn't live without these. Couldn't do my foundation without the Stands Out sponge. That's for sure. Trying not to get too much around my eye area. Saving that for Totally Concealer. Like I said, this video will more than likely run after the holidays. And I hope you and your family had a wonderful holiday, wonderful Christmas, and wonderful holiday season. This time of year, I can't help but think about the people that have lost loved ones through the year, and it's difficult to get through the holiday season. I do know that. I've been there, and it is difficult, but you know, we stop and think about those people and people that are in nursing homes and don't have anybody totally, that are totally alone, and it makes us stop and think and be thankful for what we do have. I put just a touch right more here. These are going to be redone this next year. The laser, the redness in there. I had it done last year, you know, and so we're going to pop it again in the winter time and take some more of this redness out of the cheeks. I'm just stippling. And what's ever on my brush, just the leftover, I just kind of blend down carefully, not to get it on my white sweater. I just blend it right straight down there. Okay, that's the foundation. Now let's go into, by the way, I went ahead and put a coat of mascara when I did the half lashes. I went ahead and did a coat of mascara. The mascara that made it into the 2025 high end was my Prime Lash in black lash, and I made it in, this one made it. I have Lancome, I have Lauder, I have Laura Mercier, I have, gosh, I have a multitude. I have way too many mascaras open here, high end and low end, but that one made it into the 2025. So I did go ahead and apply a light coat of that over the lashes when I did that. So, okay, let's go into contour. And what I'm going to use today is, there's several shades in here, and I'll be using the Smashbox Cali Contour. I love this palette. It's got your contour shades, several contour shades. Can you see that? Try not to get the mirror up there to blind you. It has like 6 different shades in there with your highlights. So that's what I'm going to be using today. Get a little bit of warmth to warm this face up. And let me grab a brush. Grab my BK Beauty brush. And I think I'll dip into this one right here. And put a little, see if we can put a little warmth on here. Warm it up just a touch. You know, I used to have that perfect, it's not there anymore, you know, it's just deal with what we have. I have such a high forehead. Let's go with blush. What blush? Can you guess? Can you guess what brand that made it into high end? As you know, I have several. Can you guess? NARS. One of my all-time favorite brushes. Blush is Orgasm X. I love this blush. I absolutely love it. The application, the way it blends, the color. What's not to love about NARS blush? Love it. Grab my brush blush and I'm going, can't talk today. My rougher number 5. I'm just going to tap it on the side. That's how I do my blush. I lay it on the side and tap it, and then do that. Don't want to get too much. Just tap it on up. Instead of, you know, doing that, I just tap it. Pulling it into the apple, but not way down. Up in here. When I do lipstick, if I need more, I can always go back and get a little bit more blush, but I don't want to overdo it. So let's get some brows on these, because I have maybe 7 over here and 5 over here. They're going to be microbladed. I have an appointment in January, about the middle of January. You're going right along with me. If she'll allow filming, that's what we're going to do. May have to do 3 different 3 different brow products because I have no brows. I'm going to use one by, this is not high-end, this is by iMethod actually, to do me some strokes. And then I have one by Anastasia in light brown. It's a little micro pencil. So let's see what happens with this. And now bear with me, this takes a long time. It has a double-ended, so just bear with me, stay with me. You wanted long videos, so here we go. Let's see what we can end up with this. Friends, I finally got the brow zone with 3 different colors. I'm sorry. It took 3 different shades and a little bit of time to get these brows on, but you know, I can't wait till I get them microbladed. Absolutely can't wait. Let's take a little bit of eyeshadow and put underneath here. Let me grab my special little brush. Nikki LaRose special little brush. I'm going to dip into this brown shade in the eyeshadow palette. I'm going to dip into this shade and this shade with my brush and feed a little bit under as a liner, right under there. Kind of tie everything together. I know you can't, I can't look straight on because I can't see. I have to look to the side. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Not putting a lot, just gently tapping that. This is a great brush, but if you don't have the Nikki LaRose brush, you can use any slant brush, anything that's got a flat, you know, see how that's slanted to the side? I've got Morphe, I've got many brushes, just as long as it's flat. Just tap it and feed it back in there, but you can also use a pencil. I just don't choose to. Just a little bit of that on there. So that takes care of that. I'm going to do my lips before I do the concealer and highlight. Okay, let's do our lips. Can you guess what I chose? You know, I really don't have a lot of high-end lipsticks. I just don't. The lipsticks that I do have, I have a couple of Anastasia. I have Lancome and I have Estee Lauder. Those are the majority of the high-end lipsticks that I have because I just don't pay them. You know, I'm big on Revlon lipsticks. I'm big on Maybelline lipsticks. So I'm not going to pay $35, $40 for a lipstick when I can get one that I really have. And I probably have well over 100 in the back of me back here. You know I'm a lipstick queen. But I do have a Lancome. Again, it'll be listed in the description box. So I'm going to start with a Lancome lipstick, and then I'm going to go over that lipstick with the look that I'm trying to achieve today with a L'Oreal. So I'm going to blend 2. Okay, so the liner that I have chose, and again, I don't have a lot of high-end liners. I just don't, and that's just me. So I'm going to use a good old L'Oreal lip liner, and I believe the shade, it'll be in the description box. So let's line these lips with just a good old L'Oreal. I'm getting so shaky at my age. And I don't go all the way in. And I don't go all the way into the corner. I stay back. Okay, that's L'Oreal liner. The lipstick, like I said, let's start with Lancome. I believe this is sugared maple. I'll tell you in a moment the reason I pull the L'Oreal, because I want to have that particular color. You'll see when I put it on. I believe this is sugared maple, and you know, I've had it for maybe a couple of years. I don't know if it's still available, but if it is, I will definitely list it in the description box. So that is Lancome. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this headband off. I'm taking it off. You like this headband? I like it too, but you know, I'm taking it off. Just see the snow here for a few minutes. You know, hair grows so fast. I mean, it just grows so fast. The roots are out there before I can even turn around, right? Okay, let's get the lipstick that I wanted. I wanted a little bit of a color right here in the center, top and bottom. So what did I pull? L'Oreal. I think this is Peach Fuzz or something like that. But anyway, it's L'Oreal. You see the color? I want just a little bit of highlight there in the center, even though I'm going to use a highlighter. Do you see what that done? You might not can see it, but yeah, I can definitely tell the difference. Why should I pay $35, $40 for a lipstick when L'Oreal and Maybelline and all those drugstore brands are out there? I mean, really. Okay, I'm going to use, for high-end today, I chosen Anastasia Gloss, and one of my favorite shades, I have two favorites, and those are the only two shades in Anastasia that I do own. And my very favorite, it was a toss-up, but for this look, I chose Pink Ginger. I love this shade. It is just, I just love this shade with my coloring. See how pretty that is. Anastasia Pink Ginger. Love it. I put just a little bit of my Flower Beauty, which is not a high-end. Like I just told you, I'm not real big on those. So Flower Beauty is my all-time liner to tightline with. And I'm going to use the light nude color shade in Flower Beauty to put a little bit in the bottom waterline. And again, this is Flower Beauty, and it will be in the description box. It's the light nude color. I'm not going to go heavy with it. very lightly. And sometimes if it looks too heavy, I will take a pointed Q-tip and I will very gently go in and pick up some of that, because sometimes it can get very heavy. Even though it's not white, it's a muted nude color. But I'm going to take a pointy Q-tip and I'm going to go in and pick up just a little bit of that using just the point, and I'm doing this so I don't get fuzz in my eye. It's a little tip. Picking up a very little bit, not a lot, because I don't want a lot on there. It just toned it down, but it gave me a little punch. Believe me, I need a little punch. Okay, I think we are ready for some concealer. What concealer made it? You know I have probably 20 concealers, high-end, low-end. Lancome Tintadol. It was a hard decision between Lancome Tintadol and Estee Lauder Double Wear. Very big, hard decision. I just closed my eyes and picked. And I came up with Lancome Tintadol. Right in there, grab my Angie Hot and Flashy concealer brush. And away we go blending. Press that in. I love this brush. I'm more or less just patting. I'm not pulling, I'm just patting. You know what? I did not grab my Angie Hot and Flashy. I grabbed another concealer brush, but that's okay. I'm going to go with it now. Because like I told you, I have several. It's dirty, I have a backup. You ladies think it's a sin, a sickness, or a sin, or whatever to have so many cosmetics. Well, that's my pleasure. That's my passion. It's what I did for a living, and it's what I love. So if it makes you happy, you know, why not play in your cosmetics, right? Makes you happy. Go for it. Just a little bit powder. I'm going to grab that same little BK Beauty powder brush. And I'm looking up here to see if my camera, my SD card, I've been on here for quite a while. This gets lengthy. I may have to check that to see if I'm still going, because I don't want to sit here talking and do all this and then not have anything. I'm going to set that. A finished look with my high-end finishing powder, and that would be the Hourglass Ambient Light 1 is the shade that I use. It has 3 shades across there, and all I do is just take my big powder brush and I swipe directly. I go directly across all 3 shades. And I just set everything. Just blend everything. Down on the neck, I just kind of soften and glow. I might put just a little bit of highlight, more highlight right in up over my pupil. So when I cut off to go fix my hair, and that's what I'm going to go do, I'm going to go fix my hair and put on my earrings, and I'll be right back, my friends. Stay with me. Okay, friends, I'm back, and this is the finished look. You saw all the products that I put on my face, and again, it was a hard decision trying to make the products from start to finish that made it into the 2025 high-end category that went on my face today. It was a very tough decision, especially with a few products that I was really torn between the two products. So I just kind of closed my eyes and picked because I love those products so much. You know, with being on me on my with me on my channel, I use a lot of drugstore products. I keep it as drugstore as I can, low end, because some of those products are just as good as the high end. But I did have high end, and you saw exactly what I put on my face today and how I applied it. And I thank you so much for watching from the bottom of my heart. And I hope you'll consider subscribing if this is your first time checking out my channel, and I thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much to all my subscribers for being here, and this was my 2025 high-end products that I put on my face today. I want to leave you with my favorite words. Go out and make today better than yesterday, but always remember that I love you. I'll have a video for you, my friends, next Thursday. Hope you have a good, safe week. Bye-bye.